All right, guys, we're gonna do problems 7 through 10. If you guys that know what you're doing want to work ahead, that's fine. All right, these five or these four are just a little bit different. What do y'all see that's different on this problem than what we did on 16 through 20 yesterday? Yesterday, they had this in the parentheses, x minus 2. Well, on these four problems, they have went ahead and moved the minus 2 over, and they just got a number, so they are showing you what goes in the box. One from yesterday. All right, so we got 2 right here in the box. You don't have to flip the sign because it's not with an X, it's just a number. And then we bring down the coefficients, 1, -5, -4, and 20. All right, so this one is a basic problem from yesterday. Y'all should be able to knock this one out. All right, so we always bring down the one below the line to start. 2 times 1 is 2, add them up, it's -3. 2 times -3 is -6, add them up, it's -10. 2 times -10 is -20. Last column always has to cancel out, remember. So I got 1x squared minus 3x minus 10 equals 0. All right, so we have been doing quadratic formula to find our remaining answers. Like I showed y'all yesterday, if you don't have a number in front of the x squared, it's really easy just to factor it, and it's probably a lot faster. So why don't we plan on factoring it out if you don't have a number in front of the x squared? Now, if you guys want to do quadratic, you can. Doesn't matter. All right, so how are we going to factor this one? Can y'all think of any numbers we can times together that equal 10? 2 and 5, yeah. Now, signs. Look, my second sign's a minus. When your second sign's a minus, signs have to be different. I'm going to leave this up here for you. So, one's got to be a plus, one's got to be a minus. Which one's which? Now, look, when you add them up, they got to equal -3. So, that means the minus has got to go on the 5. All right, write it down. We got x plus 2 equals 0. That answer is -2. We got x minus 5 equals 0. Move it over, that answer is +5. So you had to find 3 answers. 1, 2, and 3. Josh, we spent all day yesterday pretty much doing this stuff. All right, so I showed y'all that one. Y'all should be able to do number 8. Y'all should be doing number 8 now. All right, that looks pretty good. If you get 4 numbers left over, you got to do it again. All right, so you try 1 first, and if it doesn't work, try negative. Let's get close, guys. So you got to do it twice. Yeah. Let me check these again. So you got -2, -3, -5. Let me see your answers again. So remember, you always write your numbers down. So you have to do 1, 1, 4, and 30. Alright, so Emily, it's gotta be x times x because that'll give you the x squared in the front. So all we gotta do is think of two numbers I can times together and get 10. So just like on the last problem, oh, that ain't gonna work, is it? Oh, this one's got a trick on it. Y'all see that? 5 minus 2 only gives you 3, so that won't work. So you cannot factor this one out. Wow. So since it won't factor, the only option we have is doing quadratic formula. Unless I missed something. So you guys do quadratic formula on that one? See what you get from there. Let me see yours to make sure I hadn't missed anything. It'll work every time. But what we tried to do, we tried to factor this, Chloe. So I tried x times x and equal 10. I tried 2 times 5, but I ran into a problem. Because 5 minus 2 gives you 3. There's no way I could get negative 2. So that tells me, okay, this one's not going to factor. And if it's not going to factor, then I've got to do quadratic formula. I don't have any other options. So y'all do quadratic on that and we'll check it. I'm looking at Harley's. It looks like you're probably going to have an eyes, so y'all can get used to doing them. I got 2 plus or minus. I got 4 minus 4 times 1 times 10. All right, so looking at Harley's paper, she typed this in her calculator and she got negative 36. All right, so make sure when you type that in, you know how to get negative 36. Now we got a problem. You can't do a negative. You can't punch a negative in the calculator. All right, so you bring the negative out, guys, and that's an I. And the square root of 36 then is 6. So it's going to be 2 plus or minus 6i over 2. So the square root of 36 is 6. The square root of negative 36 is 6i. All right, I showed y'all this. When you've got an I, you're not going to be able to finish it out the way we normally do. All you can do is check these three numbers right here to see if you can simplify. And on this one, yes, I can divide them all by 2. So it's 1 plus or minus 3i. And you just leave it like that. All right, good. So look, how many answers were we supposed to find on this problem? Let's see. 3. 3. All right, did we get 3 answers? I got negative 3 as an answer. I got 1 plus 3i as an answer. And I got 1 minus 3i. So yes, we've got 3 answers. You can just leave it like that. You don't have to separate the plus and minus. All right, so good. I'm glad we saw one like that. There will be some like that on the quiz tomorrow. All right, y'all go to 9. So 9 you guys should be good on. Now I'm going to have to show number 10 for Josh and anybody else that needs help. All right, so we bring the 1 down to start. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Add them up, I get negative 7. Then I get 14. Add them up, I get 17. Negative 2 times 17 is negative 34. What did y'all get when y'all added those up? Negative 15. And then 2 times 15 is 30. So look, I know I've done it right because the last column marked out. All right, so Josh, here's the deal. Looking back on all the other problems, once you get it down to 3 numbers, Josh, you can do quadratic formula to finish it up. But look at this one. It's got 4 numbers. So when you have, nope, you got to do this one more time. That's the only way you can get it down to 3 numbers, and then you can do quadratic formula and finish it up. So Josh, when you start trying to think, okay, what number can go in the box? Always try 1 first. If 1 doesn't work, if 1 doesn't cross out on the last column, then try negative 1. All right, so I'm going to cheat a little bit. What did y'all find that worked on this one? 3. 1 wouldn't work, negative 1, 2, and negative 2. Okay, sometimes you got to go all the way to 3. Harley says 3 works. All right, y'all go from there. Work it out with 3, and then you can do quadratic formula on the next step. 3 times 1 is 3. Add them up, negative 4. Add them up. All right, so I know I'm on the right track. I got 3 numbers left. Now, let me show y'all something here. Kids miss this every year, too. X squared minus 4x plus 5. All right, last year I missed this. I tried to factor this. I did x times x. I did 5 times 1. All right, so somebody tell me, why can you not factor it out that way? It looks good, but something's wrong with it. What's wrong with it? Let me show you. When you multiply this, you're supposed to get the last number. That would give you -5. That wouldn't work. Look, your second sign's a plus. When your second sign's a plus and you got a factor, your sign's got to be the same. So there's no way to factor this one due to the sign issue. And somebody would miss that on a test. I promise you. It happens every year. So you got to do quadratic formula again. So you guys take a minute, do quadratic formula. We should be getting faster at the quadratic formula, so let's do that real quick. All right, let's go to number 10. 2x to the third plus x squared. 46x. All right, Dylan, the only thing that's different on these 4 problems right here, now they're showing you what to put in the box. You don't have to set it equal to 0 to do the work. So Josh, this one we got a fraction in the box, 3/2. All right, now here's the new step. In the box, they're dividing by 2, okay? So that means before you bring these 4 numbers down, Josh, you got to divide them by 2. So 2 divided by 2, bring down a 1. 1 divided by 2 is 1/2. 46 divided by 2 is 23. -78 divided by 2, y'all help me on that. What's that, 39? Somebody type that in. Is that right? 78 divided by 2.
It's 39.
39, so that's -39. All right, so Josh, that's the only difference when you have a fraction is you have to divide them all by 2. Now you do it the same way you've been doing it. All right, see if you can do it from there.
I started that song.
Before you finish, Gabe. All right, let's do it. All right, so I bring my 1 down. Now, when you multiply this on your calculator, Josh, 1 times 3/2 is 3/2. You're going to have to add them up on your calculator. That's going to give you 2. Now, Josh, I promise you this. You might have fractions up in here. I'll never give you a problem that you have fractions down here in your answer. 6/2, I got 3. Add them up is 26. All right, somebody's got to help me on this. I'm assuming 26 times 3/2 is positive 39. Is that right? All right, so everything's good so far. Last column canceled out. Y'all now have to do quadratic formula with that, and this one will have an I in it too. Since you guys are getting better at this, I'm going to give y'all a chance to see if you can go all the way through it. The 3 papers I looked at all had the same answer. Stuff we're about to do for a few minutes is new stuff that'll be on your test. It won't be on the quiz tomorrow, but a lot of this stuff y'all have never seen. We're going to go up top, work on 1 through 6. You should have enough room up here if you write small. You can write on the paper, or you can always do it on your paper and staple it. All right, so these are new problems, except for number 1. 1's not a new problem. 4 minus 2, 3x minus 9. All right, number 1 is just a basic equation. What's our first step if we want to solve this basic equation? Yeah, you guys distribute and then add like terms. You guys should be okay doing this problem. I'm going to give y'all a chance to work on it and go as far as you can. You want to see what you get?
Are we doing the back one?
Yeah, and that's just quadratic formula stuff. You can do that. You shouldn't need my help on that. How far did you get? Good. How far did you get, Emily, for number 1? Let's get Josh. You want to break? Good. All right, so look, I'm going to add up the like terms. I got 74 plus 18 minus 4. Add all that up, and I believe that's going to be 88. Y'all can check my math. All right, so that's what I've got so far. So what's next? Well, we got to take 88, move it over here. How's that going to change it? Makes it a negative 78. So I got negative 6x, I think I did something wrong, equals negative 68. Is that wrong? I'm doing this in my head. Did I mess up anywhere? Is that right, Sarah? The answer I saw y'all have is 13. That's why I don't think that's right. So what I do wrong? Let's check. I might have wrote it down wrong. 74.
You subtracted 78, but you had 88 on the paper.
And so I added 74 plus 18 minus 4.
But then you have-
So isn't that 88?
Yeah, but you have 88 minus 6.
Oh, I got
and
you.
need-
That's supposed to be a minus 88. My bad. That's it. Alright, so then that's 10 minus 88, which is negative 78. Better? So now divide that, and everybody's got 13. Where in the world did I get that from? Alright, so that's the one problem you guys should already know how to do on 1 through 6. Everything else is going to be new, but it's pretty easy. It's just new. Any question on 1? Alright, let's do number 2. You guys might have done this last year. We'll see. 3x to the third minus 11x squared minus 4x equals 0. Alright, Dylan, how many answers are we going to have on number 2? It's 3. Everybody sees right here. We're going to have to find 3 answers. Okay? Alright, the way this one's new, this is the first time we've had a problem where every number has an x in common. Do y'all see that? I got an x, got an x, I got an x. This is the first time we've ever had this situation. When that happens, take out an x out front. That's the only new step. If everything's got an x, take out an x. So that goes down to 3x squared, that goes down to negative 11x, and that x cancels out. So that's what you'll have left over. Alright, so we're going to have to find 3 answers. This is going to be my extra answer. It's just x equals 0. You write down x equals 0 there. Now what's left over is a regular quadratic formula problem. So now you guys just do quadratic formula with what's left over there and you're good. So this only has one extra step. When it has an x in common, take out an x, write your 0 down. The rest of it's normal. So now y'all can finish number 2 and y'all can do number 3. Good? You have any questions? That's the first answer on number 3. Check my answer. I got 1/3. Second answer, negative 18 over 24. Is that negative 3 over 4? Is that right? All right, so you guys are going to be fine on 2 and 3 on the test. Those are easy. Let's go to number 4. All right, look at number 4, guys. Is it set up for us so we could go ahead and do quadratic formula or factor it out? No, so I'm going to move 4 over. That'll be x4 minus 3x squared minus 4 equals 0. All right, so how many answers will we have on number 4? We're going to have 4 answers. All right, guys, you cannot do quadratic formula on this problem. How come? You can only do quadratic formula if it starts with an x squared. So the only thing we can do on this one, maybe something else. Can I take out an x like I did on number 3?
Where'd the negative 4 come from?
I took positive 4 from the right side. I moved it over, made it negative 4.
Okay.
You got to get it in standard form so we can factor it or do quadratic formula. All right, so the only thing we can do on this one, guys, is factor. It's the only way we can do it. All right, so you guys think about it. What goes here and here if you had to guess?
An X.
It's got to equal x4. So it'd have to be x2 and x2, right? That's the only way you're going to get your x4. All right, what goes here and here if you had to guess? And remember, they've got to times together to give you 4. Well, normally I would try 2 times 2, but that's not going to work. How come? 2 plus 2 is 4, and 2 minus 2 is 0. That doesn't work. So what's our only option? Got to be 4 and 1. Which one gets the plus? Which one gets the minus? 4 gets the minus. Anybody got a question so far? Write that down. Make sure you understand how we factored it out. Got to factor that one. 5 like that. Oh, 5's different. All right, so here we go. Y'all ready? Next step. X squared minus 4 equals 0, and x squared plus 1 equals 0. Write them both down. All right, what's next? We gotta move -4 over, that'll give you +4. So look, when you take your square root, what's the square root of 4? It is 2. Don't forget what? Plus or minus. Remember, we forgot that a lot on the first test. If you take the square root of something, guys, it's plus and minus. So it's +2 and -2. You get 2 answers from that problem, from that side. And we'll get 2 answers from the other side too. All right, so this one, I moved +1 over, that's a -1. Can you find the square root of -1? The square root of 1 is 1. What if it's got a negative with it? You got to bring out a what? So it's 1i. So you got +1i and you got -1i because it's plus and minus. So we had to find 4 answers. There they are: 1, 2, 3, and 4. That one's missed a lot on the test for some reason. People don't like to do that one. All right, 5 and 6 are the same type problem. We'll do 5 and 6 and we'll take a little break. All right, number 5 is the first time we've had a problem that had a square root symbol in the middle. And when y'all see these, like 5 and 6 on the test next week, you're going to have to factor it out. All right, do I need to slow down? Everybody good? All right, so look, to start this problem, Dylan, just memorize. If you've got a square root of x in the middle, put a square root of x there and a square root of x there. Start it off with square root of x times square root of x. Now, how does that work? How does that give you x? Because look, square root of x times square root of x is square root of x squared. And then the square cancels out the square root. It just gives you x. So pretty much, if you'll just memorize this one, when you get a square root of x in the middle, you're going to start your problem that way. All right, and the rest of it you can factor. So what can I times here and here that equals 8? Normally I would try 2 times 4. Will that work on this particular problem?
No.
No, so what do we have to use? What's the only other thing we can use?
8 and 1.
8 and 1. All right, good. Figure out which one gets the positive, which one gets the negative. When you add them up, they got to equal -7. Yep. Donnie says the 8 gets the negative, the 1 gets the positive. And we're going to do this one just like we did. Number 4. We're going to set both of our parentheses equal to 0. Root x minus 8 equals 0. Root x plus 1 equals 0. All right, I move over -8, that equal a +8. I move over +1, that equal a -1. All right, let's do me a favor. Why don't we try to just skip this step right here? That's just extra work. We can go ahead and move -8 over and make it +8 when we write it down. We don't really have to do the equal 0 unless you want to. All right, so now, last step. What do we have to do to each side if I want to get rid of this square root sign? Y'all remember? You square both sides. So this answer, 8 squared, is 64. All right, what do you do on the other side? Same thing. You square both sides. -1 squared, if you put it in your calculator in parentheses, is going to give you +1. All right, now, we got a new step on these problems. And again, guys, don't get frustrated on this. We'll do this until next week when we take the test. On this particular problem, 5 and 6, you're going to mark that answer out. Okay, why did I choose that answer to mark out? How can I look at the problem and just know that that was not going to work? You know, if you plug 1 right here, you get 1 minus 7 times 1 minus 8 equals 0. All right, that's -15 equals 0. That doesn't equal up, so I know it doesn't work. If you plug 64 in there, it's going to work. All right, but how do I know that? Just by looking at the problem. You guys look at this step and this step and see if you can see why I decided to mark that one out. It's got a negative. The one that's got a negative before you square it will never work. And to keep y'all from plugging them in and checking them, I I want y'all to learn that trick. If it's a negative here and you square it, it's not gonna work. Throw it out. So the only answer on that problem is 64. All right, what if both of them had a negative here and here, and you had to throw both of the answers out? You don't have any answers left, so you would write what? No solution. And I think you're gonna have that on the test next week. All right, number 6 is just like number 5. See if y'all can do number 6.